What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. Good news for Nigerians globally and black people in general, all right? Because what happens in Nigeria directly affects the black world, period. Because the global black community will not rise until Africa rise. And Africa will not rise until Nigeria rise. That's just what it is, right? So what had happened is the Nigerian military, utilizing combined arms tactics, has had a successful mission in destroying SWAT, which is a branch of ISIS in the north of Nigeria on the border of Niger. All right, you got to understand that the AES and Nigeria are fighting the same people. All right, Muslim extremists, Arabs, and African Arab adjacent people. All right, meaning they're African, they're black, but they are sold out to Arabism, Islam, Arabism. All right. But Nigeria and its ever-growing and ever-becoming more capable military is now utilizing combined arms as a tactic in which to attack, close with, and destroy the enemy. All right. Now that is a specialty of the United States Marines. All right, which currently there are special Marine advisors in Nigeria, also training the Nigerian military in these tactics. That's when you use drones, Air Force, intelligence, satellites, along with ground forces to effectively attack an enemy when you know where they are or when you don't know where they are. Hence the combined, right? So you don't just send your soldiers in there on the ground fighting other soldiers on the ground. It's you, the soldiers, intelligence somewhere around there, Air Force, everybody coordinated, working together as a team, right, to conduct these missions. And Nigeria is having more and more success in the theater of combat, which is great. Because we need to destroy all of them, okay? Before, this is what Nigeria used to do before. Nigeria used to use an old African strategy of negotiating, being too goddamn nice to these people, and then you would sit down with them, have dialogue, and then you send these people off, you know, on their merry way, then they turn around and attack again. See, that's the old African way, but you can't do that with these Arabized Muslims, all right, because they're deceitful. They'll sit there and act like, oh, yeah, it's all good, and then go out and do the same thing, right? So I'm glad the military is doing what they got to do to fix the problems of insecurity in Nigeria. And that's just on one stance, right? That's just one stance. That's the military doing it. Now, what I have noticed since being in Nigeria over the last couple years, I mean, I've been here for almost 10 years, right? But I've seen the progression of the military from when I first came to Nigeria to now. When I first came to Nigeria, I noticed that most of the military personnel were participating in the scheming and scamming of passengers going up and down the road, right? Mostly old military personnel that look like, you kind of wonder why they still in the military, because they look like they in their 50s and 60s standing on the side of the road, using their weapons to intimidate people, to give them money, right? Extorting people on the side of the road. As time has gone on, I've noticed less and less of that happening, right? I noticed the younger soldiers in Nigeria, the younger ones, are doing their goddamn jobs, and they're not extorting the people as much. And I'm sure it's probably happening right somewhere. There's some dumb young Nigerian goddamn military personnel taking advantage of the fact they're in the middle of the goddamn nowhere and then they can extort people. But with the age of information and the fact that everybody got cell phones now in Nigeria, everybody recording everything, right? And the Nigerian people are not tolerating it like they used to, because as hard as time is right now, they ain't got time to have some goddamn military personnel or police extorting them for the little bit of money they do got when they're trying to go from point A to point B. So I've noticed that the Nigerian military, the younger ones, the new recruits, the ones that look about my age or younger, the ones that look like they're supposed to be in the military, they're doing their damn jobs on the road, keeping roads secure and looking out for terrorists trying to navigate up and down the road, right? And those ones that's in the theater are doing their job now that they're being armed with weapons that they can use. Now they're receiving the military investment that they need and given the equipment and the rounds that they need to conduct these missions against these Muslim terrorists in the north. These Arab-loving, Arab-worshipping Muslim terrorists, anti-intellectuals in the north that mean to destabilize Nigeria. Keep in mind, the AES, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, and Nigeria are all fighting the exact same group of anti-intellectual Muslims that want to go back to the 17th century, that shun education because, like I said, you can't control people when they're educated. So their whole goal is to recruit dumb, stupid, desperate Africans who are subjugated to Arab worship, which is Islam, right? And they brainwash them into conducting these activities. Now, one thing Nigeria needs to do, since the military is doing that, Nigeria, and I heard that they're trying to do this, they need more state police. Because on one hand, you have to deal with these Muslim terrorists, right? On the other hand, you have to deal with bandits, right? Basically criminals who utilize kidnapping as a means to make money, right? That right there shouldn't be the job of the military, but should be the job of state police. That's one issue Nigeria have. They don't have state police that's funded by the federal government. They got a whole bunch of local police. You know how in America you got local police. They're underfunded. They don't have enough recruits. They never have enough officers. They don't have enough equipment to deal with the issues at hand, right? And state police are like little small armies, little larger police forces with more capability, so they can cover vast areas. Because Nigeria is humongous, right? And if the problem is they also don't have things like a large park police service where they can go into the bush and they can monitor certain areas, just like we have like state and park police in America. So I'm noticing that Nigeria is stepping their game up, and they're putting in proposals in the government to implement a state police program, right? To where they can have recruitment. That will create more jobs. That's more jobs to everybody, right? You have a more robust police force statewide that can handle these type of bandits, that can handle these issues, that have the equipment necessary to free up the military so the military can go ahead and deal with the Islamic terrorists, and the state police and these larger police forces with proper funding, keyword proper funding, can deal with these bandits so they can go ahead and secure Nigeria. Because until Nigeria gets a hold of its insecurity, it's going to be hard for the global world to come in and invest the way Nigeria needs to invest to create the jobs necessary to build the infrastructure necessary. Security has to listen. If you can't secure your country, no one's going to come in and throw their money in it because it's dangerous. You can be unsure about your investment, right? And foreigners don't want to have to worry about getting kidnapped by bandits, right? Foreigners don't want to have to worry about being attacked by Boko Haram, anti-intellectual Arab worshiping Muslim group, when they're trying to conduct real business, right? So I'm glad that Nigeria is finally being able to make relationships on an international scale to get the equipment necessary and get trainings necessary when necessary to conduct these kind of missions and to be more effective on the battlefield. So big ups to the Nigerian military. You youth out there who decide to join the military and protect your country. Don't listen to all the naysayers who are not brave enough to put that uniform on and go out there and fight the good fight. You keep doing what you're doing and be strong so you can secure Nigeria. Trust me, even though you're not always appreciated because of the bad apples within your institutions, right? But keep in mind, they need you, whether they know it or not. So keep doing a good job. I'm paying attention. The world is paying attention, and you are appreciated. Anyway, tell me what you think in the comment sections. Afro Think Tank. Learn some, teach some. I'm out.
The conversation, it's cheering and heartwarming that troops are giving terrorists in the northeast a bloody nose. The death toll of Islamic State West Africa province ISWAP fighters who launched a failed attack on troops in Malam Fatori, Borno State, has risen to 75. Initial reports had placed the casualties at 61, following a coordinated response by troops of Operation Hadinkai, supported by the Nigerian Air Force. Military sources attributed the success of the operation to superior coordination between air and ground forces, highlighting the ground effectiveness of the joint force strategies and counterinsurgency operations in the northeast. Troops recovered a large cache of arms and ammunition and ISWAP ledger of death from the battlefield. Now let's share the story about TVC News' Jesse Tafida with you.
The early morning assault, described as a 5 prolonged attack, targeted troops' position at the 68th Battalion in Malam Fatori. However, security forces, having anticipated the move, launched a well-coordinated counter-offensive, engaging the attackers with precision firepower and tactical superiority. The operation was reinforced by close air support from the air component of Operation Hadinkai alongside allied Nigerian airstrikes, forcing the insurgents into retreat. Military sources confirm that more than 80 terrorists were killed, including 3 top commanders identified as Abdurrahman Gobara, Bayauram, and Abu Ayuba, dealing a significant blow to the group's leadership structure. A large cache of weapons and combat equipment, including rifles, machine guns, RPGs, improvised explosive devices, and drone components, was also recovered from the scene. Despite the intensity of the battle, only 4 soldiers sustained injuries and are currently receiving treatment. The military maintains that troops remain firmly in control of Malam Fatori and surrounding areas, dismissing claims of setbacks and reaffirming their dominance across the theater of operation. Operation Hadinke says the situation is under control, urging residents to remain vigilant and rely only on verified information. Jesse Tefida, TVC News, Maiduguri.
All right, Jessica Feeder, thank you so much for that one. I mean, BKO, this is victory for the Nigerian troops. But tell me, what did the Nigerian military, the Nigerian troops get right in Malam Fatori to achieve this kind of victory?
No, so they got virtually everything right. Situational awareness of the battle space, superior tactical execution, disciplined and coordinated maneuvers. When you can achieve this in one phase of battle,
yes,
the enemy has little or nothing to achieve other than to take to their heels or die. Malam Fatori is a town in Abadam local government area, close to the border with Niger Republic. This is the town where the great tank commander Abu Ali was killed in a night battle with Boko Haram fighters. Our troops had been in Malam Fatori. They've held that position for so long. They didn't allow the enemy to take Malam Fatori. And Malam Fatori, because of the very dangerous terrain, we did not put civilians in that place since 2014 until recently when Governor Zulum began to relocate people from Niger Republic, where they had been living a life of destitution, to come and begin to live in that area. It's a town that was inhabited by Hausa farmers and traders until Boko Haram made life hellish for people and they had to take to their heels. But one thing that we have to emphasize is that despite Boko Haram's efforts, at no time did Nigerian troops yield Malam Fatori to them. We've attacked them repeatedly, but they've always done well in battle against these boys. Even when they lost their much-loved tank commander, one of the heroes of our battles with the insurgents in late 2014
Yes.
and early 2015, enabling us to be able to do elections in Borno State. The soldiers still stood firm. They've always defended that place stoutly. And a good number of our main battle tank, the T-72 Russian-made tank that was used extensively during the 1990 Gulf War, are located in Malam Fatori. So this time around, these boys thought that because we suffered some setbacks in some communities, that they could now take Malam Fatori. They paid with their lives. They came in numbers and returned in zeros, the way the governor of Kogi State likes to say it. They came in numbers, but they returned in zeros. In a long time, I think apart from the Battle of Konduga where our troops killed more than 68 Boko Haram fighters in one day. I've never seen where we were this successful against these good-for-nothing boys. Because post-battle searches made by our troops showed clearly that more than 75 of them were killed. In fact, I saw the video. It's just that we cannot show video.
Yes, yes.
Boko Haram fighters sprawled on the ground. There were too many. Now, going back to what we got wrong, we got everything right. Going back to what we got right, we got everything right. Coordination between the armed forces was excellent. And those of them who tried to escape, they were dealt a fatal blow. The retreating ones were dealt a fatal blow by even Nigerian forces, because they were trying to run, to go and hide inside Niger Republic. Boko Haram has a number of cells inside Niger Republic and even Chad. But on this day, they were not allowed to simply escape. They also faced attack. Nigerian forces cut them down as they were retreating. And some of their very famous commanders, like Abu Aisha, were lost in this battle. It is one of the biggest breakthroughs that the Nigerian forces has had against the insurgents. And despite the fact that they came with IEDs, they came with drones fitted with weapons, they still didn't achieve their aim. They were really, really prepared. But our troops took both offensive and defensive positions, and in line with established doctrines, military doctrine in dealing with this kind of situation, our troops rose to the occasion and they made us proud by dealing a heavy blow.
Heavy blow.
They retreated with tails in between legs, and even some of those retreating were cut down. I am sure that even in the coming days, some of their bodies will still be recovered, because this attack happened on Wednesday, which was the early hours of yesterday.
Okay.
But it's something really to be happy about. And the interesting thing also was that a notebook was recovered,
Yeah, the ledger,
at the scene of the fighting, detailing records, including names of fighters, weapons issued to them, motorbikes allocated to them for operations, and the notebook also listed fighters who are taking loans, suggesting a properly structured internal system for managing resources by these terrorists. So they have a system for managing resources and logistics. This is an eye-opener. I remember the battle of Giwa Barracks.
okay,
Once the guns fell silent, and our gallant troops are recorded a tremendous victory. At the scene of battle, foreign currencies were recovered,
wow,
meaning that there are people who pay these guys to come and fight Nigerians. A good number of Boko Haram fighters are mercenaries who are not from our country. Some of the fighters who were arrested that day after the battle of Giwa Barracks could not speak a word of Nigerian language. I still remember very well. I was home news editor for TVC at the time. And we recovered, we covered that battle very well. Even we even had some live pictures, thanks to the great journalist who is dead now, our former reporter, Kolomi Dala, and his brave cameraman, Julius. In those days, foreign TV stations used to, even CNN used to buy visuals from the Boko Haram insurgency that our reporter at that time, who used to be in the armed forces before he became a journalist, was supplying us.
Okay.
Used to go into battle and get the right shots. These boys could not speak a word of Nigerian language. So what this has taught us is that we have to be vigilant,
Yes.
and victory certainly will come our way. There will be setbacks along the way. People must realize that. But it doesn't mean that the Nigerian forces are not up to the task. And I'm happy with the quantum of weapons recovered from these boys. 52 AK-47. That's a lot. 52 AK, to recover 52 AK-47, you must first kill the person
Yes.
who had the weapon.
Yes.
8 PKT, 5 general purpose machine guns, 7 RPG tubes, 21 RPG bombs, 3,000 rounds of assorted 7.62 millimeter ammunition. Come on. It's a great day.
It's a great day.
For the Nigerian forces, and I'm really proud.
It's a great day.
Proud of our boys.
It's a great day. Now, ISWAP death toll at 75, Mojid. How significant is this in weakening the operational capacity of the terrorists?
I'm a very happy Nigerian today.
Yeah, we all are.
And I must say kudos to our officers and men because at things we need to give them commendation for this feat. Now, what those characters, what they had in mind was to go and ambush the Bravo command. They want to overtake and take over
Yes.
a unit of the battalion of Operation Hadinkai.
Yes.
I mean, involved in the fighting of these insurgents. But they met their Waterloo on Wednesday. You know, it's something they have been doing.
Yes.
And now our operatives too worked on intel, so which means the intel this time was very correct.
Yes.
And foolproof. I mean, whoever sold
Early intelligence.
yeah, I mean, a very, very intelligent and well-coordinated operation. See, they were advancing. I mean, they like what they normally do is to come in their hundreds and overwhelm, fire drones, do whatever they want. But then this time around, they were coming, our guys were ready for them, and they unleashed both air and ground assault on them. And you can see the result. Now, also we should commend our counterparts in the Nigeria Republic who also assisted in repelling those who are trying to escape amongst them. So, but basically, the operatives of Operation Hadinkai means joint efforts in Hausa. So, it took a joint effort of the military, I mean, the army, the Air Force, and even the joint
Civilian JTF.
The civilian JTF, I mean, who gave them an intel on the movement and the activities of these characters, and they met their Waterloo. 75 of them, and you can see what Jide was really out to us. The ammunition that were
that they have with them.
That they have with them.
How do they get those ammunitions?
Yes, you know, they have some probably from some sponsors.
Yes.
I mean, which we can't put our fingers on. But then, you know, they also engage in kidnapping and ransom taking. You can see their ledger.
Their ledger.
Where they have list of those
who took loans.
And the number of motorcycles they have issued out, the number of ammunition they have issued.
Now, because of our time, what mechanisms should be put in place to ensure that gains like this are not reversed?
Yes.
In coming weeks.
Yes.
You know?
We should not relent.
We should not relent.
We should celebrate this.
Yes.
But then, my boss used to tell me, MJ, the reward for hard work
is more
work. So they need to do more to deal with the remnants, with the renegades of these characters, because having suffered this defeat, they might want to regroup after some time to come back. They are very terrible. They don't give up easily.
Yeah, they don't.
It might take them another 1 year or so. They want to regroup and come back. So we should continue to decimate them and degrade them. To ensure that they are really decimated. So
to the last man.
To the last man.
To the last man.
In a very ruthless manner.
In a very ruthless manner. That's true. All right, to our second.
Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan.
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.